I'm the executive director of the Transit Coalition. We're a nonprofit that deals with transportation advocacy, goods movement. We deal with issues like the bus realignment, train. We've worked on proposing and getting Expo Line to come. It took like 18 years. We also worked on projects like the Valley to West LA Rail Project, and our friends from BYD are here tonight. We work on a lot of different projects. We have a lot of meetings coming up in the next couple of months. Our next meeting is on private-public partnerships with Poland Pard from Metro on P3P. Then after that, we've got the Downtown LA Streetcar, and Shelley is here with Downtown Streetcar, yes? Or with the company that does Downtown Streetcar. And after that, we're doing the Purple Line extension, and then after that, we're doing, Bill Washington is coming back around the end of, sometime in July, he's coming back, maybe beginning of August. And we have also the West Santa Ana branch and other speakers. Our speaker tonight, we had a little speaker problem. So Chris Haskell, who I actually met many years ago at Metro, is going to talk about the SCORE program. Paul Dyson is going to tell you about it. But I just want to mention that we do have sponsors, and we're grateful for the sponsors. One of our sponsors, Tom Kim from HDR, is running late, so he let me do the commercial, which means it's almost over. Then we have BYD, and our friend the song from BYD is here. Did you want to say anything about BYD Skyrail? Not sure. Anyway, Skyrail BYD is one of the finalists with the potential of putting trains in from the San Fernando Valley to West LA. They've got a number of trains in China. I think there's like 32, either 16 or 32 operating train systems in China. They do urban rail, and they're just not a startup. They've been doing it for a while. So the company's got experience, and they've reached out and they've sponsored us. We're grateful, bless you. We're grateful for that. So BYD is there. In addition to that, Destination Enterprises, where's Mr. Penn? You want to give us 10 seconds?
Sorry about that. Hello everyone, good to see such a large crowd tonight. Great turnout, as always. We're a continual supporter of the National Transit Coalition. Our company is Destination Enterprises. We are a construction management firm, woman-owned firm. Most of our projects are rail-related, not just here in LA County. We go down to San Diego County as well. Currently, we just won the award for the AMC project, which is the 96th Street station for Crenshaw Line in LAX. We're proud to say that that award is an all-woman-owned business firm, so it'll be the first of its kind for LA Metro, and hopefully not the last. So we're happy to be here, happy to sponsor, and we appreciate the opportunity.
And we appreciate your help too.
Thank you.
Thank you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room and do quick guide everybody. So this is Paul Dyson. He's the retired president of the Rail Passengers Association of California, serving for what, 40 or 50 years? Slaving away. But he's gone on to some new positions, including the rail propulsion systems, working on selling and getting some clean air engines into the state of California and around the United States with better compliance than Tier 3, Tier 4, right? Right. Okay, so he's going to do the introduction of our speaker, and going to sit down. So
Thank you, Bob. Good evening, everyone. Paul Dyson I'm still with RailPac, actually. I'm Vice President for Southern California now. I slipped down the ladder, thank God. And I work with Rail Propulsion Systems, as Bart said, but more of that later. We've been around, RailPac's been around for 40 years, a lot longer than Metrolink, actually. And we very much welcomed, back in 1992, the formation of the Southern California Regional Rail Authority, which is the governing body that operates Metrolink. And things got off to a pretty good start, and thanks to the Northridge earthquake, which some of you may remember, some of you will have been around here then, it gave a real boost to the system because the Metrolink was able to run some trains, particularly starting up the Antelope Valley line when the freeway was closed. And so things were going along pretty well for the first, well, almost a decade, I guess. And then ill fortune, bad management, safety issues intervened, bad luck, the Glendale accident, followed by the even worse Chatsworth accident. And a lot of the political coalition that had got the thing started just kind of evaporated and people stepped back. So unfortunately, since then, the momentum really has fallen out of it. The air's gone out of the balloon. There have been, okay, some minor additions and some additional services on the fringe. But for any would-be patron of the line, particularly somebody coming from Europe who's used to a joined-up regional system around most of the big cities, they would look at a Metrolink map and say, oh, this is pretty good stuff. I can get from here to here and back again. Well, sorry, most of the time you can't, because there aren't the services available other than at peak hours or in a very restricted sense. So what we're here to talk about tonight is the SCORE program, which I've already forgotten the acronym. Southern California Optimized Rail Expansion, right? The SCORE program, we hope, will set all that aright. We hope that SCORE will bring us really into the 21st century with a true regional rail system instead of just a title. So forget about all this Purple Line rubbish and the West Santa Ana branch and all these minuscule schemes. Just remember that 500 people on a Metrolink train is better than 5,000 people on a 3 or 4 or 5 mile journey on a metro bus. You're getting far more bang for your buck with getting people out of their cars and with reducing emissions with these longer rail journeys than you are with a lot of short-haul transit riders. So that's my pitch. We're very fortunate to have with us one of the people that's actually working on the project. Stephanie's wonderful. We've had meetings with her and she's doing a great job. But it's actually, for the point of view of you folks here, I think it's actually beneficial to talk with somebody who's really getting into the nuts and bolts of it. Chris Haskell joined Metrolink in May 2019 as the Deputy Program Manager for the SCORE program. SCORE is responsible for increasing service levels across the Metrolink system, ostensibly in time for the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. As far as we're concerned, 20 years too late, and the sooner they get it done, the better. Prior to joining Metrolink, Mr. Haskell served as Project Director and Senior Project Manager for Qatar Rail in Doha, Qatar, on the delivery of the Mesherim station, which is the key station serving the central interchange between the red, green and gold lines on the new metro system. Previously, he worked in London on the 2012 Olympic Delivery Authority, where he worked on 2 major station upgrades, Stratford, and that's not Stratford-on-Avon, by the way, that's, if you read your Chaucer, it's Stratford-at-a-Bow, and West Ham, both of them in East London, which provided the required station capacity to host the London Olympic and Paralympic Games. Mr. Haskell started his career as an engineer and later as operations manager in the aerospace industry. We'll forgive that. Upon completion of an MBA in London, Mr. Haskell followed his interest in transportation and began his career on the first major upgrade projects on the London Underground, namely the Jubilee Line 7th car, that's platform extension, and the Waterloo and City Line, which I used to ride to school way back. Mr. Haskell earned a Master of Business Administration from Imperial College in London, a great school. In 2002, a Master of Science degree in Applied Physics from Johns Hopkins in 1997, and a Bachelor of Science degree in Physics and Applied Mathematics from Geneva College in 1993. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Haskell, who's pinch hitting, as they say in America.
Thank you for the introduction, Paul. Much appreciated. So yeah, as I was telling some folks earlier, I got called from the bullpen late yesterday afternoon asking to present tonight. So Stephanie sends her sincere apologies for not being able to be here to present this evening, but as she will be here at some point in the future. So I guess just to gauge my audience, can I see a show of hands? Who regularly takes Metrolink? with the regular pass. Okay, great, excellent. And who would consider themselves occasional Metrolink riders? Okay. Has anybody never taken Metrolink before? Oh, you got one, okay. All right, so hopefully we can get a convert tonight before we're done. So as Paul mentioned, Metrolink is the regional rail commuter system throughout Southern California. And we have a big program of works called the SCORE program I'm going to tell you about tonight. So we're looking to increase service across our network. The big target is the LA 2028 games, and we're well on our way to getting things started, moving in the right direction. Okay, so what I'll go through is I'll give you an overview of Metrolink. So most of you are familiar with Metrolink, so I'll keep that pretty quick. And then the 2028 service vision. That was the kind of the start of the SCORE program. And I'll tell you about that. The SCORE Phase 1 overview and SCORE Phase 1 projects tell you what we're building for SCORE. Future SCORE projects, looking out in the further horizon. And then I'm sure you're interested in some of our opportunities coming up, so I'll tell you about some of our procurements that are coming up. Okay? So many of you then are familiar with our Metrolink map. So as you see, we serve all 6 counties here in Southern California, and we have 7 routes and lines. We have about 42,000 average weekday riders at the moment. Last year, we came just under 12 million riders for the entire year, and that was Metrolink's best year on record, and our ridership has continued to increase each year. Okay, so our trains, obviously with a 538-mile route system, they go a long way. So every year, our trains are traveling about 2.7 million miles, and this just shows a breakdown of our miles traveled by county. Most of our, all but one of our lines runs through Los Angeles County, so that's why LA County gets the lion's share, and you see the breakdown with the other counties. So a lot of Metrolink riders, probably you do as well, you drive to a station, so it's very much a park and ride, right? Drive to a station, park, and take the Metrolink. So we have, we refer to ourselves as the least expensive, most effective way to cut freeway congestion. So Stephanie Wiggins joined as our CEO back in January last year, so she's been with us now for a year. And this was her vision that she brought to us, which was customer first. So always focusing on what value and what things we can bring to the customers and making their journey as best as possible. We have 3 pillars to our vision, which is safety and security. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. An integrated system is integrated ticketing, but also physically integrating our stations with other transit modes around our stations, and modernizing our business practices. So really giving ourselves a good technology boost in how we're doing business. All right, so I'll start with the 2028 service vision. All right, this vision was created just about the time that LA was awarded the 2028 games. So we're talking about September, October of 2017. So the vision was basically to have the key trunk between Burbank and LA to have potentially as many as 8 trains per hour, so 7.5-minute headways. So we have about 4 trains per hour on a number of other sections, so that'd be a 50-minute headway. And then in the green, it's 2 trains per hour. So in summary, the real vision of SCORE is to ensure that we have a 30-minute headway across almost our entire network, okay? And that's a 30-minute headway that could be operated all day, okay? So this isn't just, peak morning, peak evening. It's also all day long. And also, as you see here, so I'll get that in the next slide, but also bi-directional service. So as you know, in the morning peak, a lot of our services originate out and they end up here at Union Station. But one of the key principles of SCORE is to look at bi-directional service and offer much more bi-directional service as well. Okay, so trains at regular headways. So that's like the every 30-minute type of consideration. Stronger first and last mile connections, transit integration. So minimum of hourly, 30 minutes on all lines, and then 15 minutes on some segments, and bi-directional on all lines as well. So rail integration between ourselves, Losan and Amtrak, and the future high-speed rail is another key consideration. And of course, being ready for 2028. So we want to obviously offer enhanced services in time for the 2028 Olympics. And of course, this isn't just service we would offer for the Olympics and then it goes away. This is a permanent investment that we're looking to that we're making in Metrolink in order to serve the future needs of Southern California. All right, so the vision ended up in a project map that looks like this. So it's pretty much our entire network has something that's being done to it, okay? And I'll get into those details of the SCORE project. So we put in an application for a transit and intercity rail capital program, two-step application, that was on the order of $10 billion, okay? And of that $10 billion, as I'll explain a bit later, we received $875 million. And that was extraordinary for Metrolink, all right? Metrolink has never received a grant of that size previously. And a lot of it goes to, I would say, our tagline, which is SCORE. So I know Paul was struggling with the acronym, but this is one of the cases where you put the horse before the cart. You come up with a good name, SCORE, associated with the Olympics, and then you try to find like what words to put next to them. So it's a really good bit of marketing pitch that our planning team did. And basically of that, okay, I'll get to the video in a moment, but of the $10 billion, we've got $875 million. We also have some matching funds coming in from High Speed Rail and other member agencies. So in total, the SCORE package is about $1.5 billion. So this is a video that we put together for SCORE, and I'll go ahead and let this run, and hopefully the volume.
Each day, as the sun begins to rise over Southern California, over 21 million people are coming and going. Whether they're heading to school, work, or a ball game, Metrolink provides people a convenient, stress-free, and green way to travel. We must do more in order to serve Southern California's growing population and meet the state's ambitious goals to reduce greenhouse gases and improve access to affordable housing. Metrolink has an ambitious capital improvement plan to upgrade its system so that the region gets more, and just in time for the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. With our Southern California Optimized Rail Expansion Program, or SCORE. With SCORE, the region gets more. SCORE will create a Southern California transportation system that seamlessly connects our job centers to affordable housing and will help local businesses grow and thrive. SCORE also provides more safe, reliable train service, from infrequent service that mainly goes one direction during peak commute times to service that runs regularly throughout the day in both directions. More jobs and economic growth throughout the region. More clean air, because when more people ride Metrolink, more cars are parked, which reduces traffic and emissions on the major freeways adjacent to the Metrolink system. SCORE includes over $10 billion worth of railroad improvement projects throughout the region. Grade crossing improvements that enhance safety, reduce delays, and allow cities to apply for quiet zones. Signal improvements that streamline operations. Track additions that will result in fewer delays and more service when there's demand and funding. Work that will accelerate progress towards our zero emissions future. A study by the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation estimates that SCORE will create over 113,100 jobs before the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. And over a 30-year period, the study forecasts approximately 1.36 million jobs and $683.8 billion in gross regional product will be added to the economy throughout our 5-county service area. Metrolink does more than get us from point A to B. It connects us as a community in so many ways. From your home to your career, from your friends in the valley to your family in Riverside, or to the beaches of Ventura, LA, and Orange County coastlines. For your health and for the health of our planet, Metrolink rides with you. Find out how you can get more with SCORE at metrolinktrains.com/SCORE.
Okay. little bit later. I'll touch a little more high level on some of the benefits, but you can find this video at our Metrolink website if you'd like to see it again. So when we received the TIRCIP grant of $875 million, and then coupled that with the other investments from California High-Speed Rail and our member agencies, we devised the SCORE Phase 1. All right, so that's a $1.5 billion program of works. And these were the key projects that we have funded that are projects that would get us to that 30-minute headway that we could operate all day. All right? And I'll go into each of these projects in a bit more detail a bit later. The projects really consist of a few key elements. Track siding, and new track and siding extensions. So we're adding approximately 10 miles of new track to our system. The station modifications, so if you're a Metrolink rider often, you'll know that some of our stations only have one platform that's accessed by one track. That tends to be a problem and causes a bit of a choke point on our network. So we're building some new platforms in key areas with grade crossing improvements. We're undertaking new signaling as part of the new double track and new platforms. The key one is to respace the existing signals. One of the problems we have out there is that we have portions of our system where we have long spaces between some signals, and that just really restricts the train headways that we could get through a particular section. So a lot of signal respacing we have to do. Obviously, supplemental fleet is obviously if we are running more service, we're going to need more trains. And that also requires us to have a new maintenance and layover facility. So I'll talk to you about this a bit later, the Orange County Maintenance Facility. That would enable us to be able to maintain and store trains in Orange County, which is a key part of our system, and would definitely help with our operations. And finally, the Link US project. I think Jeanette may have spoke here about Link US already, but basically that's obviously converting Union Station to a run-through station, and that enables Metrolink to run one-seat rides to different station pairs. So that's a real game changer for us at Metrolink. And our friends and colleagues in Metro are leading that project, and it's moving forward. Okay, so this is a timeline of our SCORE program to date and looking forward. So as I mentioned to you, there was that 2028 service vision, and SCORE was created based on that service vision and our 10-year strategic rail plan as well. We then got the TIRCIP award in April of 2018, and that's what then enabled us to have about $1.5 billion of funds to fund SCORE Phase 1. Last year was really doing our initial environmental assessment and doing our 5% design, which we refer to as our project definition reports. So we completed that in 2019. At this moment, we are currently in preliminary design, which takes our design up to 30% for all of our projects. And we are commencing now the next stage of the environmental clearance for our projects as well. So our target going forward is to finish our design and to commence construction in 2022. Our target is the end of 2023 to try to finish our Phase 1 projects. And then as we're applying for more funding, just about every year, every 2 years. So as we get more funding, that big list of projects, that big map of all those projects, we have those prioritized based upon the service level that the projects can give us. So the more money we get, we know what projects we can build, we go off and get it done. Okay? So now I'll get into more detail of the SCORE projects, all right? So this is more of the engineering side of things now. Okay, so this first one is Simi Valley Double Track. All right, so what I'm going to be doing, I'll go back to this map. What I'll be doing is starting out here and kind of working our way southward on the projects here. All right, so I won't go through like the name of each one, each slide. And I've got a diagram showing what the key principles of each project is. Okay, so this is the Simi Valley Double Track, and for some reason that didn't come out. Okay. Something happened with the slide there, sorry. Basically, at Simi Valley, we're adding about 2.13 miles of new track, so that'll create a double track section. We have a big problem at Simi Valley because just west of Simi Valley we have Moore Park, which is where we have a train storage facility, but we have a very long stretch of single track through Simi Valley and then through the Santa Susana Mountains. It really is a constraint for us. So this is a key project for us, adding 2.13 miles of new track. We're going to upgrade 4 existing crossings to make them quiet zone ready. And then we're adding a second platform to Simi Valley, so obviously that enables 2 trains to service the station simultaneously. And then we've got new number 20 turnout. So at the moment we have number 14s. You know, that's obviously a rather slow turnout, so we're putting in more high-speed turnouts as well. Okay. Actually, I don't know what happened with the slide there, but there you go. That's the project. So there you go. Double track section, new platform at Simi Valley, and basically some at-grade level crossing improvements to make them quiet zone ready. Okay, Chatsworth Station. Okay. So at Chatsworth, at the moment, if you use the station, we have an at-grade level crossing. And that at-grade level crossing actually causes us a lot of operational problems because it doesn't have the proper gaugeage and such. But given that Metro is looking to perhaps go with light rail or to increase service on the Metro Orange line, we basically understand that having a pedestrian underpass would be much, much better. Now, we know we show the pedestrian underpass here, where the orange line station's here. We are investigating how we'd be able to have that underpass here to have a much better connection with the orange line. We also are undertaking some at-grade crossing improvements at Devonshire and Glasgow Street. Okay, Burbank Junction. Burbank Junction, just to give you some little bit of reference here. So this is Burbank downtown Metrolink station. This is the Antelope Valley line, which goes out to Lancaster, and this is the Ventura County line, which goes out to Ventura. So this junction is very key for our network, obviously, where 2 of our lines come together. Historically, we have a problem just with being able to move the trains across, and there's slow turnouts as well. So basically, we're going to be adding in the new crossovers here and making them number 20 turnouts, so it'll be a higher speed turnout. And that will certainly help traffic flow, separating it between our Antelope Valley line and the Ventura County line. So Burbank to LA, again, as I mentioned earlier about the signal respacing, got a bit of a problem there. Another kind of strange problem we have is that our software that we use for our controlling trains is a bit old as well. So we found that actually by making some good software changes to our operational control center, that we can actually get improved headways through here of 30 minutes headway. So it was one of those odd ones where we felt like we'd have to go out and do a capital program of a few $1 million, whereas if you want to get 30-minute headways, you can do it. Just update your software and do some good modifications there. So that's our signal respacing Burbank to LA project. Okay, Marengo siding. So I'll go back just to show you where we are there on the map. Okay, so I just did the projects that are broadly along our Ventura County line, and now we'll be moving on to the projects on the San Bernardino line. Okay, so the Marengo siding extension. As some of you know, if you take the San Bernardino line, there's a very long stretch of single track that goes down the middle of the 10 freeway, all right? Yeah, that's a problem. So it's a very long stretch of track where only one train could be on there at a time. So we have 2 projects. One's Marengo siding, the other one's El Monte, where we're basically extending the sidings to create a longer double track section on both ends of that. Okay, so this one is extending it by 3,300 track feet. Also, again, as you see the turnouts, we've got a lot of number 14 turnouts out there. We want to improve those, improve the speed of the turnouts, so installing number 20s. And then we also have to shift the existing main line about 900 track feet as well. But that gives us a nice long double track section between Union Station and coming out here. Actually, I'm sorry, from Cal State LA out here to this point where it merges to go on the 10 freeway. El Monte siding extension. This basically is adding about 3,500 track feet. So it'll be a new double track section with 3,500 additional track feet. We're installing a number 24 turnout on this one. We also have to do bridge improvements at two bridges. One of them is Ramona Boulevard. And let's see, also El Monte Station platform. So if you've used El Monte Station It's a little difficult because it's like sandwiched in between two of our tracks, but then you got UP running right next to it. So we're trying to improve the pedestrian experience there by improving the access and egress from the station over to the Tyler Avenue there. Rancho Cucamonga, we're extending the track by about 4,600 feet there. Going to upgrade the grade crossings at two of the two locations. And when I say upgrade, that means we're going to make it quiet zone ready as well. We've got a couple of new turnouts, relocating an old one for a UP spur there, and also installing a new control point as well, which again will help trains run closer together with shorter headways. Okay, now we're moving down to Orange County. Let's go back to the map real quick. Okay, so those were San Bernardino line projects, and now we've got a few projects down in Orange County that I'll go through. Okay, so our first one is a signal respacing project. This is the Orange County line that runs here. This would be our IEOC line, so Inland Empire Orange County line running along here. So we have a long distance between signals here, so we're going to add 2 intermediate signals here, and that will enable us to run a greater headway through this section for our IEOC line. And it's also being tied in with the new Anaheim Canyon station that's going to be built there on that substation as well. Okay, the biggest project we have down in Orange County is the Sarah siding extension. So we're creating a new siding that's about 2 miles long, and we have to cross. The big part of the project is actually crossing over Pacific Coast Highway. So we have to go on a curve. Some of you have probably ridden our system know this is where the Big Bend is, where we come down onto the beach from inland Orange County. And that bridge that's there at the moment just won't be able to support 2 tracks on it. So we're looking at a number of different configurations of either replacing the bridge entirely or actually building 2 spans across there. It's actually quite a challenge, despite not having a lot around it. It's just because it's on a curve. We'd like to be running high speed through here, obviously, and yeah, the existing span just can't support 2 of our tracks going across there. And then we have a signal respacing project that goes down from Songs to Avery. So CP Avery is just south of Laguna Niguel Station. This is where Sarah Siding is, just right here, the project I was showing you before. And this is CP Songs right here. So what we'll be doing is adding 6 intermediate signals there, obviously enabling trains to run at a greater headway through the section, going down to San Diego and going up towards Irvine. All right. So the projects that I just went through with you are actually projects that Metrolink are leading. So when I say leading, I mean we have the funds for it, but we're also doing the environmental clearance, the design, and the construction. So those are our responsibility. We have a number of other projects that we are funding, but they're being led by either one of our member agencies or by private railroad, BNSF. Okay? So Riverside Downtown Station, there's an additional platform and station and track modifications going in there right there at Riverside Downtown Station. That's being led by RCTC. The Orange County Maintenance Facility, again, it's a new maintenance facility that enable us to store, maintain, heavy maintenance, everything right down there. Just near Irvine Station actually is the location for that. And that's being led by OCTA. Irvine Station, the goal of Irvine Station is to make it a 4-track segment through Irvine there. And we would have like 2 island platforms so we could serve the station on both sides. So we're looking at that as actually becoming a key node for our Metrolink system at Irvine. So we've got additional platform and track going in there. In Irvine, that's also being led by OCTA. I mentioned LinkUS. I think you're all familiar with that project, so that's being led by Metro. And then finally, the goal on the San Bernardino subdivision, so this is BNSF going from LA out to Fullerton and then onwards out to San Bernardino. What we're looking to do, the ultimate goal is to create a 4-track railroad between LA and Fullerton. Now obviously this is also including California High-Speed Rail, so they're a key player in all this. So we are working with BNSF to try to, we've got some funding to try to do some of the early works that would be necessary that would lay the foundation for that 4-track railroad to be built at a later time. So that's being led, that design and construction will be led by BNSF. All right. So these are some of the benefits of SCORE as a result of the projects that we're building. So, so we're enabling quiet zones, enhancing safety by having less single track sections, more double track. We're increasing capacity, obviously, optimizing our rail operations. This is a very interesting point about Metrolink. So each weekday, approximately 46 trains that come into Union Station actually leave Union Station without any passengers on them. And they have to travel up near Burbank, or Glendale, I guess would be, for the central maintenance facility to be able to be cleaned, refueled, etc. So that's a lot of deadhead trains, as we call them, which it just takes up space at the platforms, and then we got to take them away, and that takes a crew that has to go with that train up to Glendale. So especially with Link US, that enables us to do a run-through service, and it changes that whole that whole operational mode significantly. So it's a really big project for us there. Improving transfers to other transit providers, so obviously the whole network integration is a key thing. Air quality, as was mentioned. We see ourselves as an excellent alternative to driving, especially long distances out to Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Ventura County, and the Antelope Valley. And then supporting economic and goods movements. As you probably know, Metrolink does share a fair amount of track with Union Pacific and with BNSF. So our improvements obviously are not just helping Metrolink, but they're also helping the freight movement as well, being able to get more freight trains through the network on a daily basis also.
Are the right-of-ways jointly owned, or are they privately owned and they allow us to use them?
Metro, RCTC, SBCTA, they own, so the member agencies own and operate, or they own a certain part of the Metrolink network. But UP and BNSF own, for example, the Riverside line runs on UP right-of-way. Our 91 PV line largely runs on BNSF, San Bernardino subdivision right-of-way, as does our Orange County line, and the IEOC line. So when I say that we operate on them, BNSF and UP own, operate, maintain, and dispatch. So they actually do the operation, and we're kind of, they host us to operate on them. But the Ventura County line, for example, is owned by Metro largely, and then VCTC, and we operate. So it's our dispatching, our operation, and maintenance on those sections. Okay, so obviously, SCORE Phase 1 is a big event for us, and it's a key initiative. But our overall SCORE vision was much greater, so we continue to pursue additional funding to try to get those funds to roll out more projects across the network and to just be able to enable more service going forward. All right, so upcoming procurements. We are going to be issuing some RFPs out relatively soon, I'd say within the next 1 to 2 months, for our final design, okay? So that would be taking design from 30% to the 100% design level for our SCORE projects, the ones that Metrolink are leading, okay? In terms of construction, we've been looking at CMGC, which is Construction Manager General Contractor. It's a construction contractor alternative delivery method that we've been looking at. So we are looking at spring, summer of this year to try to get RFPs out for that construction element. Here at Union Station, there's the throat section. So as you take Metrolink, you'll always know you got to come. You come into Union Station, you go out, and there's what we call the throat section, which is 6 tracks across, multiple control points. It's an interesting place on our Metrolink network, and we're going to be modernizing that. So we're going to be going out soon for track construction materials and also signal materials to upgrade the throat section here at Union Station. And if you have not signed up already and you want to do business with us, the best place to go is metrolinktrains.com/procurement. So that will keep you up to date and give you information about our procurements when the RFPs come out. So I would strongly encourage you to sign up for that. Okay. And with that, that's the presentation. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, any questions, anybody? Yes, sir. Could you give your name when you ask, please?
The whole act, or just a brief one? No, just kidding. Ali Altam. Chris, thank you so much. Question I have was on the throat modularization. Is that going to be design build or design bid build? Conventional or?
Yeah, it's design bid build.
So
So
you've got the
we have the design, yeah, thanks for asking, very good question. Our design for that is complete, so we are at 100% design. So we are now starting the procurement for the construction elements of the project.
Value, construction value, just rough?
On
We
the
got
order
100
of,
million?
yeah, on the order of maybe 20 million.
Thank you.
You had a program management RFQ that was, the response is due, I think, in February. When would we expect to see a short?
I'll have to pass on that. It's,
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of a long story. But yeah, not sure when we would have a short list for that procurement.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
The CMGC contractor delivery, is that going to be more for each individual project along scores? Or is that going to be kind of like a blanket thing you guys are looking to do?
Yeah. Get back to our project map there. We're actually very close to agreeing our bundling strategy. All right. So what we'll be looking to do is to take collections of projects, bundle them into one package. So it'll be one or multiple design RFPs that would come out, and then there would be one or multiple construction RFPs that would go out, whether it be CMGC or maybe a traditional construction contractor. So, so we're still finalizing that packaging strategy, and then now we'll obviously go into our RFPs that we're issuing out to the market.
Over there first and then you.
Hello, I'm Brian, I'm Yanity, and I'm on the Fullerton City Transportation Commission, just an advisory body to the city council, and we're really curious about the Fullerton Junction project. I know that's a BNSF-led project. What is the status in terms of planning and funding?
Yeah. Okay, we have, we've been working very closely with both California High Speed Rail and BNSF on that project. We have a concept for a full build Fullerton Interlocker, Fullerton Junction project. Given the funding that is available right now, what we've been negotiating is a phase one of that project. There would obviously be a first phase of the project that would require no rework in the future, and that would be able to give us benefit before 2028. So I know that there's a concept of a phase one project that's been identified, and again, it's been kind of a slow process, but we're working through that. And California High Speed Rail are doing the environmental clearance of the corridor from LA down to Anaheim, which includes Fullerton and Fullerton Junction. And they have the full build of the Fullerton Junction project in their environmental clearance. All right, so at the moment, we're trying to tailor a project to the funding that we have and trying to do a first phase of that project.
Any timeline?
Well, I would say, obviously 2028 is our, kind of, outlying goal. I think at the moment we're looking hopefully for about a 2025, 2026 timeframe to be able to deliver a first phase.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for providing permission to project. Jose Martinez, Stantec. Is the preliminary thinking on the bundling by location or by discipline of the project? Just curious if you guys have project.
Yeah, we haven't finalized that packaging strategy, but it's a little bit of a combination of geography and discipline.
Okay.
So, so as I said, we're looking like we will have multiple packages, 2, potentially 3. So, but it's not necessarily like a signaling package and a civils package. It's a kind of a combination, mix with geography in the middle.
Thank you.
Hi, Patty from Kleinfelder. I have 2 questions. In regards to phase 1 projects, what is the timeline? I don't remember. when you will have those completed? And the second question is in regards to zero emission vehicles, is that part of phase one? Is that, so in regards to zero emissions vehicles, is that part of phase one? Also, because I've heard that you will be having hopefully a hydrogen fuel train, or I forgot, either electric or hydrogen by 2025. So I was just wondering if that's part of phase one or?
Yeah, correct, yeah. The zero emission vehicles, that is currently under study for the type of vehicles that we could procure and utilize on our network. And that would definitely be in sort of like the 2025, 2026. So obviously as we're able to turn on more service, as those vehicles would constitute part of the new trains that we would have to buy, those would be introduced in 2024, 2025, 2026 time.
Anyone else? Just a couple more real quick, just at the back.
Yeah, Johannes with BAI Communications. Came in a little bit late, so I apologize if this is a redundant question, but your train control system, are you looking to upgrade or just simply move portions, enhance and optimize? Or are you looking to modernize?
Yeah, we're undergoing an upgrade to our train control system. Largely this was done by positive train control, so when we enabled PTC on our system, we had an upgrade at that time. But there's still some inefficiencies in our system that we are looking to correct by, one of our projects would be a simple software upgrade and modification. But other projects definitely require signal respacing, so we have to physically go out there and respace signals in order to enable more service.
Thank you.
At the back.
Has consideration been given for any segments that would be electrified with overhead wires?
Yes, I mean, with California High-Speed Rail, we've been working with them very closely, so we know that they'll be using the overhead catenary system. So our projects are ensuring that we are not precluding their overhead catenary system to go in when they are finally at the stage of construction. They start to build out their system which we'd be sharing tracks, so there would be a shared use track in a number of segments along the route here, especially like the Antelope Valley Antelope Valley line, and also the Orange County line and 91 PD lines.
You, sir.
From the Stanley Green, from the consumer standpoint, when could we expect 3-minute headways on the Riverside 91 line?
Okay. Yeah. The Riverside line, our purple one here on our map. Riverside line is challenging. We have, that's owned, operated, and dispatched by Union Pacific. And we have been in negotiations with them to enable us to allow more slots for our trains to operate on.
I was asking about the 91 line.
The 91 PD? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're basically with BNSF. That's owned, operated, and maintained by BNSF. So, the projects that we are looking at here, which is Fullerton Junction and Placentia here, and then we have a number of other third track and fourth main passing projects at some of the stations along here. So again, we are targeting about 2026 for those projects to hopefully be online. So hopefully an increase in service by, let's say, 2026. But again, 2028 is the big day we're in.
Okay, just a couple more than you would know. White shirt and then black jacket. Pink shirt.
Just pie in the sky, Chris. There is a line coming into just over the border into San Bernardino with Virgin Rail.
Yeah.
Do you want to? And we're talking 2028.
Yeah.
You must be anticipating something happening, and when we're talking, unified sort of system. Can you share anything of what's been going on, because it doesn't show up on any of the plans?
Yeah, so they're looking, Virgin Train's looking to build a high-speed line which would terminate in Victorville at the moment. They've been studying using the Antelope Valley corridor that would take them over to the Palmdale area. And that's where they've been talking with California High-Speed Rail about the integration point there. So then if this happens, the high-speed trains would then travel from Palmdale down through Burbank and down to Union Station.
Now, clearly, that line is electrified, at least coming into San Bernardino.
Right.
Yet, Metrolink and the Antelope Valley is not.
Yeah,
What's your,
yeah, we would not be, we were not anticipating at the moment that we would be having electrified lines on our San Bernardino line. Again, you know, high-speed rail looks like they'll be coming down this way. And of course, they've got the line that would run down to Anaheim. So that's why we've got the fourth track project going on here that would also enable electrification of that corridor down to Anaheim that we would look to utilize in the future. But at the moment, out to San Bernardino, we just don't have that on.
yeah, I was just thinking from the Antelope Valley Palmdale side, the Antelope Valley is electrified down to, Union Station.
Right.
At 30 miles an hour.
It's not exactly high speed. It's kind of close speed.
Real quick, sir.
Yeah, just a quick question. You talked a little bit about the customer first theme. Are there any plans to kind of enhance the customer experience, just, from a service perspective?
Sure, we're looking to get Wi-Fi on the trains. That's been a key thing from our customers that we hear. Obviously, integrated ticketing is another thing. So, I know you, just like myself, I don't like having to have multiple tickets, and I like to be able to just, tap from one to the next going through. Obviously, we're always looking. We'll be doing a car rehab very soon. So obviously, some of our carriages, they're getting a bit old. So we'll be doing a rehabilitation of our carriages. Those are some of the key initiatives that we're doing for customer experience.
Okay. Thanks again. Thank you all very much. You haven't moved yet, but the dynamics are that I have a train in 1945 and I don't have another one for a long time. But you're all welcome to chat amongst yourselves. Just real quick, you want money to build these projects. You guys are in the business of building them, but you can't do them without the money. RailPac, the Transit Coalition, are the people that advocate to get this money. For a small investment in RailPac, you can get some bucks. Our magazine, Steel Wheels, is over there. Please take copies of the last 2 or 3 issues. We're on your side and we're helping to make this happen, so your support is appreciated. Thank you.